Mike Field reports.
The new-look Dover Athletic unveiled to the football world. Up and away, a glitzy image to take the club into the next century.
We've got a new sponsor, which we've been talking to all summer. We've got a new manager, and we've also got 6 new players. So it's been quite a hectic last 2 or 3 months.
As the new age dawns, what are the sponsors expecting to get for their money?
As a local employer, and particularly being one of the largest employers in the town, we were looking for something that we could put back to the community. And certainly the club has demonstrated that it's very well managed. We think that if we make funds available to sign new players, improve the ground, and really take the club forward.
So exactly how much money will the club have from its sponsors, and just what kind of player will be turning out at Crabble?
Well, Shearer's not playing today, Mike, so it's not millions, but it's substantial. To be fair, and I'm not ducking the question, we really haven't hammered out the basic details, but it is substantial. It will be over a period of minimum to 3 years, which will then give us the ability to plan long term.
And judging from their display against Kidderminster, Dover have a lot of long-term planning to do. Their defence was exposed early on as Paul Webb gave the visitors the lead. And it needed brave goalkeeping from one of their new signings, Brian Horn, to stop Dover going further behind. Dover wilted under pressure in the second half, and they conceded 4 goals in 20 minutes, including a hat-trick for Lee Hughes and a second for Webb, which all left the new manager pondering the future.
We've got a couple of offers in with players at the moment at other clubs, and of course what Daihatsu are doing is great news for the club. So it isn't a total disaster for Dover today, you know, as regards the club as a whole. It's a good day.
And it seems the club's ambition is as strong as ever.
We've always set our stall out that we would like to get into the Football League. If you ask Ladbrokes or William Hill, they'd probably give you 100 to 1 against it.
And after the weekend results, probably 200 to 1. Mike Field at Dover for Meridian Tonight.
Dover Athletic at home to county rivals Welling United. 3 goals, bags of action and a manager sent off. What more could you want? The Battle of Kent looked to be going Dover's way early in the first half when Darren Adams threatened to open the scoring on his debut. But Welling's Paul Copley had other ideas. 8 minutes later, though, Dover did score. Striker Ricky Rena brought down by keeper Glenn Knight, who received a yellow card. Dover received a penalty. Stuart Mundy took full advantage of the opportunity. Dover's new manager Bill Williams urged his team on to greater efforts, and they responded with more pressure on the Welling goal, but found a second score hard to come by. That wasn't the case for the Welling team, though. 35 minutes into the game, the visitors were level. The right-wing cross from Lee Watt funneled into the net by Ollie Mora. Both teams continued their attacking ways in the second half. Dover keeper Ron Fearon did well to keep a free kick out, then watched the follow-up sail by. Man of the match, Rena, was a threat all night and was just inches away from scoring for Dover. And it was Rena who set up the winning goal. Russell Milton, the scorer, Rena's contribution outstanding. Manager Williams contributed a little too much, according to the referee and his assistant. The former Gillingham defender and Maidstone boss was accused of being a little too direct with the flagman and was sent off. His players didn't seem affected, they simply kept going. And Big Bill cheered them on from behind the goal, although he didn't look totally calm about it all. But he needn't have worried. His players protected their lead to run out winners by 2 goals to 1. They're now level on points with Welling, 8th from bottom in the conference.
We'll move up the form table with that one, but you know, the brief was simple here. It was to win 8 games out of 15, and we've got 3 of those.
Now, you got sent off. What happened?
I actually questioned the linesman, and right out the blue, he said I used a couple of bad words, which we will discuss later.
We then saw you in the crowd with your fans. You must have enjoyed that.
I didn't mind going up there. It was a new view for me. It was okay up there. They were good people.
Ricky Rayner scored a consolation for Brentford, but their 9th league defeat of a highly disappointing campaign sees them slip to bottom in the table. Nevertheless, Adams drew encouragement from the display.
And that brings us to Dover Athletic, a very important match for them this weekend. They're at home in the quarter-finals of the FA Trophy. Wembley very much on the horizon. It's a big game for the Vauxhall Conference side. Barrow stand between them and a place in the semi-finals. The Crabble ground will be in tip-top condition for tomorrow's encounter. A big crowd is expected. 3,000 to 4,000 would not be a surprise. The Dover Football Club will be ready to make them all welcome. The FA Trophy is non-league football's Premier Cup competition.
It is a big game, probably our biggest game in terms of importance for probably since, people say since we won the league, but I think since we avoided relegation with Kidderminster some 3 or 4 seasons ago. Inevitably people talk about Wembley, but we've got Barrow on Saturday, and if we can get past Barrow, we've still got 2 games in the semi-final, so it's a little way away yet.
Around this time last season, white-shirted Dover were trying to get the better of county rivals Welling. This season, the club is showing consistently better form and holding a comfortable mid-table position in the conference.
I think we've got a good chance, mainly because we've got the home draw. But when you look at their record, they've got the best away record in English football. They haven't been beaten yet away from home. They've got a lot of ex-professionals. It's going to be a very hard game. It's going to be a hard team to beat.
Dover's 3 previous trophy ties this season have all been away from home, with victories at Purfleet, Hereford and Hyde. Will playing at home spoil that record?
Statistically, you'll find that in a lot of the quarter-final stages of the national competitions, the home team doesn't go through. And if you look, even this season, FA Cup, I think there's only 1 in the 4 games of 1 at home.
Dover have done everything possible to give themselves the best chance of a home win tomorrow, and manager Bill Williams seems quietly confident.
We've got a decent team now on the park. We're in the quarter-finals and everything's looking A-OK at the moment.
And you stand there as a manager smiling. That must be enjoyable.
I just think I'm smiling because I've still got that twinge of madness that I've had for the last 25 years, and I think you need that in this game.
On to football, Dover Athletic remain close, but not yet close enough to making a Wembley appearance. Home advantage didn't help in the weekend's quarter-final. A draw means they have to do it all again at Barrow tomorrow. Ian McBride reports on the first meeting.
It all began so promisingly. Dover threatening to overrun their lower league opponents. But Barrow haven't lost away all season. Against the run of play, Marsh's free kick deflected off the Dover wall, and Coates provided a spectacular finish. Worse was to follow as Darren Adams lunged at Dave Hillins. Adams had already been booked, and in football 2 yellows equals red. With Dover forced to regroup, it wasn't until the second half that they began to come back into the game. Gary Stebbing's pass split the home defence, and Liebert Henry's superior speed and strength provided the finish.
I played with Gary a long time, you know, in my days when I used to play up front all the time. And it's something we've always done, me and Gary, you know. He picks me up very, very well with that kind of ball. It's basically, you know, throwing one for the defender and then going around the other side, and he knows the run. And then the rest is just, you know, down. I really didn't think nothing about just getting a clean strike on the ball.
Joy then for Dover as they head for a replay at Barrow tomorrow night. But the lingering memory for most spectators will be the number of bookings and the sending off.
Referee, he in his last 2 games, I think he's given 15 cards out. I mean, that's no good for the game. It'll just ruin the game. I worry with that sort of refereeing, I really do. I don't know where the game will go. As a spectacle, it will die.
But at least Dover live to fight another day. Tomorrow night in Cumbria. Ian McBride in Dover for Meridian Tonight.
First, though, football glory as the town of Dover celebrate their team's big victory. The Vauxhall Conference side won through to the semi-finals of the FA Trophy by beating Barrow in the quarter-final replay. Dover Athletics' journey to the Lake District well rewarded with a tense win on penalties.
It was a hard-fought match at the Barrow ground. A capacity crowd had turned up. Hundreds more had to be locked out. The pressure was on, but at full-time it was 0-0. And despite Liebert Henry's best efforts for Dover, after extra time, it was still 0-0. And so, an expectant crowd prepared for a penalty shootout. Dover's Charlie Mitten ready, but not needed, as Barrow's nerves showed through with a wide shot. All Dover had to do now was to score with their 5. No mistake from John Baden. Barrow weren't going to miss with their second. 1-1. Dover's Gary Stebbing making sure they stayed ahead. 2-1 to Dover. Mitten then beaten again to the delight of the Barrow crowd. 2-2. Stuart Mundy stepped up to put Dover in the lead once more, 3-2. Barrow steadied themselves to level the score for a third time, 3-all. Jimmy Strout didn't let the tension get to him as he secured Dover's next, 4-3. Barrow kept up the pressure and levelled to 4-all. And so Darren Adams, the sent-off villain of the first-round match, turned hero in this replay. 5-4 to Dover, and no time wasted before the celebrations began. A jubilant team enjoying congratulations all round. Only Cheltenham stand in their way of a trip to Wembley for the FA Trophy final.
Nerves of steel, those Dover boys. We were expecting the manager in for a chat, but the long journey from the north has taken its toll, and he's probably still on his way home now.
Finally, Dover Athletic, they played the first leg of their FA Trophy semi-final away to Cheltenham Town. White-shirted Dover got the ideal start. 3 minutes gone, Gerald Dobbs on target, much to the delight of the travelling fans in the crowd of over 3,000. They conceded 2 second-half goals, though, in the 76th and 82nd minutes. A 2-1 defeat, but plenty for Dover to play for in the second leg this coming Saturday at their home travel ground. First of all, though, it's football and a big weekend in prospect for non-league Dover Athletic. They're at home to Cheltenham, aiming to secure a place in the final of the FA Trophy at Wembley. Last Saturday, Dover, in white, played the first leg at Cheltenham and got off to the perfect start. A goal from Gerald Dobbs after just 3 minutes. Manager Bill Williams recalls the moment well.
It was the old Route 1 football off of Sammy Arindi's head, Gerald Dobbs strike, 1-0 up. Then we took quite a bit of a pressure. They had a lot of the ball, and we sadly we hung out for 70 minutes, and at a corner we went to sleep, and it went 1-1. Then there was quite a dubious decision, I felt, an offside decision that went against us, but you have to accept that. We went 2-1 down.
Over 3,000 saw that game. An even bigger crowd is expected at Dover's ground tomorrow. No away goal counting double rule, extra time then penalties if necessary. A Wembley final next month awaits the winners.
I've laid in bed 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning on 4 occasions so far, and yeah, you can't help but do that, and you just hope that you're going to hopefully get it right on the day. I know our side will give all they've got, and then let's just hope it's going to come right.
And it did come right in the quarter-finals. The replay away to Barrow ended with a penalty shootout. Dover's red-shirted hotshots came out on top. Tomorrow's encounter will be just as tense, if not more so.
Somebody said to me, go out and enjoy this. I just feel a certain amount of anxiety now. I think that's impossible.
And, of course, good luck to Dover. We start tonight with the end of Dover Athletic's Wembley dream. They were 90 minutes away from the Wembley final of the FA Trophy. They didn't make it, but it certainly wasn't for the want of trying. Dover Athletic were at home in the second leg of the FA Trophy semi-finals. Over 3,000 were at the game, Cheltenham Town the visitors. 2-1 down from the first leg, white-shirted Dover got off to a poor start, conceding a goal after 6 minutes. Before half-time, Dover found themselves 4-1 down on aggregate when a goal-line clearance from Gary Stebbings ricocheted into the goal. But the Kent side made a game of it in the second half. A goal in the 70th minute gave them renewed hope of a Wembley appearance. Neil Lebean, the man on target. And 8 minutes later, John Budden levelled the game at 2 apiece to set up a tight, tense final 12 minutes. 2 long-range efforts had brought the club back into the game and had the crowd willing them on to get a third. It didn't happen, though. No more scoring. The tie finished at 2-all. Dover out of the competition, 4-3 on aggregate. Wembley dreams on hold for one more season.
We had our opportunity here, I believe. We had a great chance early on, 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper. Had we scored then and got the crowd ready behind us and we hadn't given those 2 silly goals away, we could have done it here. But it's all reminiscing, looking back, and it's over now. But I think my players have been absolutely magnificent throughout the whole run. They gave it all they had. They gave it a full go in the second half, and it just wasn't to be.
2-legged semi-final against Dover didn't begin well for Cheltenham. Gerald Dobbs put the away side in front with this lob over the goalkeeper, and those fans behind the goal at that stage thought they were on their way to Wembley. However, enter Jason Eaton from the corner, a glancing header, and that was 1-1. Full celebration from Mr. Eaton, and it was to get better for him. A slightly scrambled second goal, but he was in the right place at the right time. 2-1 up after the home leg. And so did Dover, where it got even better. 6 minutes, Dale Watkins swivelling to put Cheltenham 3-1 up on aggregate, and then Jason Eaton, after 34, scored his 100th goal for the club, and only 4 players have managed that at Cheltenham. Terrific comeback by Dover, to be fair to them. 70th minute, look at that, from Neil Lebean. Fabulous finish, which gave the home side some hope. No chance for the goalkeeper. And John Budden made it 2-2 after 78 minutes, but it wasn't enough.
Dover Athletic have been denied an historic entry into the FA Cup. They were beaten by Basingstoke at Crabble in the final qualifying round last night. But as Mike Field reports, Dover can count themselves a little unlucky.
The Dover faithful turned out in force, hoping to see their team make a little history and reach the first round of the FA Cup. But underdogs Basingstoke had other ideas. They should have taken the lead in the 3rd minute. Striker Ian Mansell hitting the post. Dover found their rhythm, and Joff van Sittart's patience and control paid off. His accurately timed cross, finding sub Ricky Rayner, whose powerful header put the conference team in pole position. Midway through the second half, the game was turned on its head when a harmless-looking Basingstoke cross was saved by the Dover keeper. But suddenly, the ref was awarding a penalty. Apparently for hands by the Dover sub, Lee Palmer, later hotly disputed. No disputing Derek Simpson's penalty. 8 minutes from time, Dover conceded a free kick and a soft goal. Steve Harris, the scorer, and Basingstoke were through to a first-round tie against Bournemouth on Saturday.
In the second half, we didn't do enough as a team, although I believe the changing of the game was the penalty decision that was given. It appears that it was their centre-forward who handled it and not our centre-half, so that's very sad and disappointing to go out to that.
There seemed to be some dispute about the penalty.
I think there always is, isn't there, when there's a penalty, especially when it's against you. But, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I didn't see it, so, that's the referee's decision. You do need a little bit of luck, and possibly that was with us a little bit tonight. You can't explain it, can you? I mean, it's cup football. Everyone's seen it over the years, and I just really think if it's going to be your night, it's your night, and tonight was our night.
This was a big game to keep an atmosphere around the place and for everyone to look forward to Saturday. So, I don't know. I haven't had too many disappointments in football, but this, I think, verges on one of my biggest.
And the manager now has to get Dover back on track in the league, thinking positive and scoring more goals like this. Mike Field at Crabble for Meridian Tonight.
Now, because in Dover there was only one match that mattered this weekend, the visit of Cheltenham Town to Crabble. It might not be the top flight, but there are still plenty out there supporting conference football on a cold December afternoon. Roger Clark reports.
Not a day for the fair weather supporter, but the visit of league leaders Cheltenham enough to draw the Dover diehards through the turnstiles.
Just beat Gillingham, first of all. I mean, we come from Maidstone, so come down Dover, watch the football. It's a good atmosphere, people know us, so it's got to be done.
It's a friendly atmosphere, it's good fun, meet up with a load of friends, just a social scene, really. I mean, football, if we win, it's even better, so, yeah, it's a good time.
But for those who braved the less than hospitable conditions, a game that will have done little to warm the spirits. Lots of huff and puff from both sides, sadly no end product. Dover with the best of the early exchanges, but never really looking like scoring. The home side with plenty of incentive to do well after Cheltenham had controversially put them out of the FA Trophy last year, but revenge rarely looks likely. The visitors' defence hardly troubled, the final ball often Dover's downfall. Profligate finishing on both sides kept the scores level in the second half. First, Dover's substitute Mark Hines wasted their best chance of the game. And then Dale Watkins found space for the visitors. His finish, though, summed up the whole afternoon. 0-0 then, a hard-earned point for Dover.
I thought that the first half we played well. We were in with a shout of winning the game. But in the second half, there was a lot of pressure from them. We lost 2 players. And, I think maybe I thought there were times that maybe we may have lost it in the second half. So, yeah, I'm happy for the point.
Dover-Farnborough. Now, after a great win away to Kettering at the weekend, Dover were riding high, but it was a different story for Farnborough. They lost 5-1 to Hayes in their previous match, and it didn't give them much confidence when they travelled to Crabble Athletic Ground. Ozzy Osmond braved the Arctic conditions.
It's Wormel with the throw. Carruthers, back to Simon Wormel. A bit of space to work in, possibly for Wormel, who loves a dribble. Dover still in possession, a snapshot, and it's a goal! Dover take the lead. And it's that man again, Neil Leberl. Well, the ball fell kindly to him on the edge of the box. It was a dipping volley that ended up in the back of the Farnborough net. It's Dover 1, Farnborough 0. Here's Hines, the substitute. Mark Hines. He could do something special, you know. Tripped up was he? No, says the referee. And Farnborough can break. Here's Wingfield. It's opening up here as we reach the half-time stages. Wingfield. Simpson. Plenty of space for Steve McKim. McKim goes for goal. It's not a bad effort, you know. Darren Robson there in the way. Here's Monday. Clark with a bit of time. Can he turn away from his man? He can. It's Dave Clark. Carruthers is in with plenty of space here. Here's Matt Carruthers. Here's Matt Carruthers for Dover. Can he make it two? A fire shot to the goalkeeper's face, and the goalkeeper, Radford, was there to block it. They come to Carruthers. Here's Simon Wormel. Back to Carruthers. Wide with the clearance. Monday hoofs it long. The 2-7s go up. Clark's get the better of Wingfield. Here's Carruthers. Back to Wormel. Nice turn by Simon Wormel. He's got Wingfield chasing him. But the ball's going to fall for Matt Carruthers, who's taking his time. And Horner blocks it for the corner. It'll be James Virgo to hoof one into the penalty area. It's quite busy in there. There's plenty forward for Dover. Simon Beard on the line, giving the goalkeeper Radford something to think about. Wormel's on the edge of the area. Shearer's at the back post, looking to use his height. In comes the corner by Virgo. It's Shearer's header, and it's 2-0 to Dover. Lee Shearer, he was lurking there at the back post. Virgo whipped in the corner. There was none taller, there was none stronger. The power header, it's Dover 2, Farnborough 0. Darren Robson on the back post. Simpson on the near post. Wingfield's corner. Flicked on, and it's a goal. Farnborough are back in this game. And it's the big number 5, Richard Horner, who scores from the corner. It's just what Farnborough needed, and they're back in this game. McKim with the header. Here's Leberl. Looks to go wide in the run of Simon Wormel, who reads that perfectly, Simon Wormel. A great header. Can he get in a good cross? It's dangerous for the defender. And Wayne Stemp steps in to get the danger away. Shearer's piling in again. That's a powerful header as it dropped in. It was Neil Leberl looking for his second goal of the game.
It was a bit of a banana skin, I think, out there for us today. And we were a little bit concerned about the game. Farnborough, having lost 5-1 their last game. Manager gone, new manager in. It could have gone the wrong way for us. So we didn't play well, but we were happy with the points.
There's no ifs. We will stay up. And we'll be bringing new players in that will be outside the bottom three. There's no problem.
Can you give us a sneak preview to maybe some of the new players you're thinking about bringing in?
I'd leave that to John. But there'll be new players there for Saturday. So come and see us on Saturday, because there'll be probably 2 or 3 players there.
I've got a great ball in from Berg, so I've just got up at the far post and just tried to get as much on it as I could. Luckily, it's gone through the keeper's legs. So I was quite pleased with it, especially with the 50th game coming up.
First off, let's turn our attention to Dover. Manager Bill Williams, as I said, was on the show last week, and he predicted that Kettering would be the ones to come away with 3 points when they played them at the weekend. How wrong can you be, Bill? You see, Terry, when managers come on this show, it's a good omen for them, and I'll eat my hat if you don't beat Barrow at the weekend, and I mean that. OK, well, let's take a look at the action when Dover left their White Cliffs to take on Kettering at Rockingham Road.
When these two sides met earlier in the season, it was Kettering who came out on top, but Dover have got a good little run together now. And that's Carruthers on the break. Oh, Solit's missed it. Now, can Carruthers deliver the finish? He can! And it's 1-0 to Dover. Matt Carruthers has scored the goal to delight the travelling support. And how cool was this? The defender rushing back could not keep it from going in, and Dover are in front. Well, there are the Dover faithful. It's a cold old day here at Rockingham Road. Kettering looking to come back into this game. That's right across the face of the goal. It's a right old scramble in there too, and Brown got in and just couldn't find a way past Mitten. Frustration for Kettering. They still trail by this single goal. This is Clark for Dover. Oh, and Hone caught him that time. He could be in trouble. Mr. Parks, the referee, is showing the yellow card and the red to Mark Hone. And Kettering are down to 10 men. A free kick for Kettering to work. And again across the goal, it was Bowden, I think, who got up there that time. And so nearly directing his header goalwards. Time running out now. We're into the last minute of play. Oh, there could be a chance here, though, for Hyde. Oh, Solid has a calamity. And this surely now will be the victory for Dover. Mark Hines can celebrate his 8th goal of the season. But poor Adam Solid in the Kettering goal has had a nightmare. It's Kettering 0, Dover 2.
It was great preparation for Dover for tonight's match against Hayes as they trounced Nuneaton 3-1 on Saturday. They're currently tied on 6 points in the division along with Yeovil. Simon Wormel, the opener there, and just 4 minutes later they went 2-0 up through Lee Shearer's penalty. It was all wrapped up just before half-time when Dave Clark hit number 3. And 3-0 at half-time, and only a consolation from Thackeray on 73 minutes dented their shutout record.
Six games without a win and lying 6th from bottom of the conference, Dover needed a home win. And a pre-match rethink did the trick.
We changed the system today. We play with a back 4 and a middle 4 and 2 up front, where we have been playing with 3 central defenders. So we changed the system and it paid dividends.
And the first of those came early. A perfectly worked move with Simon Wormel's cross finding an unmarked Mark Hines. His first goal since they played Kidderminster 6 games ago. And Dover pressed home their advantage just minutes later. Dave Clark found Wormel again, who made the space to pass to Hines. And he made no mistake, claiming his and Dover's second of the match.
Just before the game, me and Simon had a little chat, and I said to him where I liked the ball, and fair dues to him, that's where he put it, and I repaid him by putting it in the back. So today I had the opportunity with a 4-4-2 to show what I can do, and I hope Bill's had a look and see that I'm better off straight down the middle instead of out on the wing.
The Dover keeper also had a tremendous game. Paul Hyde not only saved Hereford's best shot, he also stopped Mark Taylor's penalty. So, things on the up for Dover with that 2-0 home win. Now a summary of our league team matches. Dover conceded a first-half penalty to Scarborough when Jake Leberl made an illegal save. Scarborough's Darren Roberts made no mistake as his shot swept past Paul Hyde. But Dover went on to win a controversial second-half penalty of their own, despite Scarborough's protests. Lee Shearer stepped up, sent the keeper the wrong way and equalised. And that's the way it stayed. Dover 1, Scarborough 1. Dover Athletic have once more been denied a place in the first round proper of the FA Cup. In a fourth round qualifying replay at Crabble, they again failed to capitalise against lowly Ryman League Worthing. It took until extra time before the deadlock was broken. Then Worthing sub Tony Holden scored the only goal with his first touch.
Very disappointing, yeah, we don't seem to be able to get past this fourth qualifying round. It's a big thing at the club. I don't know, you know, we're not going to have a better chance today than a sort of First Division Ryman club at home, but once again we didn't do enough to win.
At conference, Yeovil had their ambitions dented by a rampant Dover, who went ahead through Jake Leberl, whose shot took a deflection. Dover took control in the second half, and although the woodwork seemed to have saved Yeovil, Simon Wormel was on hand for the rebound. Dover's diligent midfielder Steve Brown added a third, touch lucky perhaps, but the fine victory takes Dover to within a point of the leaders. Dover 3, Yeovil 0.
And in non-league football, Dover Athletic are through to the fourth round of the FA Trophy. They beat Gravesend at Crabble in a third round replay. Ian McBride has the action.
Gravesend seemed to have a dream start. Just 2 minutes gone, and Dover's defence looked all at sea. Chase Stadhart finding the net, but his effort was ruled out for offside. And they were to pay a heavy price. A through ball opened up the visitors' defence, and Steve Brown used the time and space to round Mickey Desborough for his 7th goal of the season. But Gravesend fought back, and this will be one goal that Paul Hyde will want to forget about. The shot from Stadhart didn't look to be too much of a problem, but somehow it squeezed through the keeper's legs. His blushes were saved, though, by Joff van Sittard, who burst through for the winner. The result means Dover will now face Doncaster Rovers in the next round on February the 5th. Final score at the Crabble, Dover 2, Gravesend 1. Ian McBride for Meridian Tonight.
Conference side Dover Athletic were in action in the fourth round of the FA Trophy against Doncaster, and they made it through after Matt Carruthers' cross set up Joff van Sittard for the only goal of the game. Dover's footballers are doing splendidly at the moment, so well indeed that they may even be heading for the Football League, and they're doing it all on their own with no outside financial help.
Yes, just across the water in France, things are rather different. Dunkirk Football Club are mid-table in Division 4 of the French League, but they get a lot of help from outside. Mike Field spent the day over there to spot the difference.
Dover winning again, up to second place in the nationwide conference and on the verge of the Football League. For a club with crowds of 1,200 if they're lucky and run on a shoestring, it will be an astonishing achievement. This week, the Dover manager, Bill Williams, along with his vice-chairman and chairman, have been on a fact-finding mission in France. Dunkirk Football Club is about the same size and standard as Dover, but there the similarities end.
I mean, obviously, a full professional club will be its own master and generates its own money, whether it be through sponsoring or through the turnstiles or transfers. Most of the French system, even the professional side, a lot of it's funded by the town council.
Most of Dunkirk's $500,000 a year budget comes from the council, whereas at Dover,
we don't get 1 penny from anybody. We have to find our own money, and I believe they get something like £400,000 worth of funding to assist what they do, be it that it goes back into community work as well, but I think we could do with a little bit of help.
Bobby Brown is the only English manager in French football and believes we've much to learn at all levels.
We play a major part within the school system, whereby our coaches go in and coach in the schools, and the players come to us for specific coaching. We go into the hard-done-by areas in Dunkirk. You know, you find the boys and girls of different ages, not belonging to any clubs, and in difficult situations, we go to them.
Outstanding talent is fast-tracked, given top-class facilities, even club accommodation. And Dunkirk is a football nursery to Lens, the top team in northern France. It's all about bringing football into the community, and Dover are convinced they can learn from the French system.
At Dover, we run exactly the same setup they've got here, which is under 11s, 12s, 13s, 14s, 15s, 16s and 18s, and yet we've got no real facility for them. There's an old muddy pitch at the